hearing your voice, I was like, okay, he's alive. I don't know what state you were in. I don't know how bad it was. And then you did say you got shot, not just in the arm, but you got shot through the chest. And then I was just like, whoa, does that mean there's something more at risk here? And are you going to make it? And how stable are you? You couldn't answer those questions.
So to share what was going on with me, just to frame the story here, when I reached out, and this was the first call to you from anyone, this was approximately 5 days after getting shot, and this was the third time I woke up. So the first time I woke up, maybe 10, 12 hours afterwards, my first sergeant, along with Sergeant Feely, that's the Samoan guy who lives nearby, they were kind of standing over me, and my one question was, did Doc make it? And they said no, and I started crying, and then I don't know if I got gas but I passed out again. Went to another surgery. Then another day or so later, I gained consciousness again, and all 3 times I woke up, I chest tube and IVs and things. And the second time I woke up, and there's a Catholic priest trying to put a cross on my forehead, and I'm sure I was garbling my words, but in my head I was saying, I don't want my fucking last rites. Get the hell out of here. Like,
like, what does that mean? No, I don't want that.
Get off. It's either you or the Grim Reaper. I don't want either of you. Like, back off. go away. Say your prayer and go to the next, go to the next bed, So, so I didn't have any answers at that point. It was like 2-3 days later, a couple surgeries in, and my only info is Doc didn't make it, and somebody's trying to put a cross on my forehead. And
why I'm so baffled.
And then I passed out again.
Oh man.
Right? And then some more surgeries. Third time I came to, they're screaming a couple beds down from me, and that was some of our other units were hit, and I recognized I was able to kind of sit up and look over, and it was I think it was Captain Parsons, and I also recognized he had like 2 brothers that maybe they were twins, but they all kind of looked the same, so similar. They looked like relatives, so I recognized him. He was just screaming, and it woke me up. They were trying to move him or something, and he got hit by something, and after that third one, I was generally able to stay more conscious, and so this was a couple surgeries later and a couple days later. So I guess we're trying to get your perspective, but the point I'm making is when I reached out to you, I'd been in the hospital 5-6 days, couple surgeries in, and I'm the first person you're hearing from.
I had no idea.
As I can barely.
Yeah.
Someone was like holding a satellite phone to my cheek or something. Can I call my wife, please?
I can't believe that it took
and that's the first you'd
that
heard.
long for me to hear from. I didn't realize that you were in the hospital and receiving treatment for that long already before I even found out. Like, I would think that somebody from within command would reach out to give me that information sooner. I mean, because clearly you were incapacitated to be able to give me that news, but why did it have to wait that long to get that news?
I have on my limbs now. It's great, I have other issues we can talk about in another video, but I was incapacitated for a few days, a serious wound. And that's a tough one. Both of us thinking about and just realizing just today or yesterday that when I called you, that was your first notification.
Yeah. So full transparency, we were actually kind of discussing how we would be mentioning this just yesterday. And we literally both were shocked and discovered that I didn't receive notification from the military before, like right after you had gotten shot. The only reason why I knew when I found out was because of you calling. days later after the event. And because you pursued to see it, to call me,
Try to
see
find
it through.
somebody, started asking for a phone.
Yeah. But I want to dissect it a little bit more too about like how else that could have gone a little smoother, or like how that impacted like the continuous like information passing or the lack thereof of the information passing, and how that also continued to like stir these like uncertainty and unanswered questions. And wow, this is like pure disorientation.
So when did you hear from the military?
I think I finally heard from someone a day after you had called, but I thought, oh, by then it was because you probably were trying to spearhead them coordinating with me a little bit more and passing me some information.
And what
I don't
happened?
know why.
What did you hear?
Yeah, somebody actually came to the house, and it was a chaplain, and he shared the news to me, and I think he maybe didn't know you had given me the heads up already. I'm not sure.
Well, you told me that when you answered the door, he said condolences.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, if I hadn't called ahead, when a chaplain shows up your door and says condolences,
yeah.
I mean, that.
Yeah, I was like, but to me, I was kind of like,
I mean, it just shows that what is the military?
Somebody already told me, and it wasn't you.
How little did they know, and how little were they trying to?
Yeah.
Were they able to? How slow was the communication?
Yeah,
it's kind of shocking, actually.
But I want to say, like, there was something about not being able to be brave and courageous enough to be direct with me and get questions and really try to get those things, because it was more of like try to pacify. I get that, right? But when you're in like this kind of crisis and you don't know what's going to happen, like you want some answers. And I feel like I've been very patient and very tolerant of not demanding answers ever in the military as a military spouse. But in that moment, at that time, absolutely, you need to be making sure you give your spouse the details, the answers, what's the plan, what's going to happen next, and that did not happen.
What were some of the questions that you had?
Yeah, I wanted to know, hey, are you going to be sending him to the typical place that I hear other service members go to when they get shot, no matter what degree? Are you sending him to Germany? Do I need to go to Germany? Should I be making arrangements to go there right now? Just when can I see him, and is he okay, and what's his recovery going to be looking like, and who else, and are you able to say who else like was affected, who else died, and is there anybody in the unit that we should like maybe I could reach out to or something? Are there other people that I could be connected with, and stuff like that, and I think maybe a day or two later, then I heard from somebody in your command. But it was very much like, ma'am.
Well, when you say
let's pacify the ma'am, the emotional wife right now. It was very much like that. And I eventually, I don't think I got any questions answered except you telling me what was coming up next. And that was, I'm not going to go to Germany, and they're going to keep me here, which was also kind of enraging. Like, what do you mean? You got shot in the chest. Like, this isn't like a pinky injury, this isn't an extremity. Like, this is a core part of your body. What are you talking about? Like, you're going to take some healing. And yeah, I did that. That was absolutely baffling to me. And then, and by the way, we're not sending him home. Because to be honest, I was like hoping, okay, maybe this is out. Maybe this is out. Maybe he can come home to me. Maybe he can get out of that danger, whatever that is. Like, this is perfect. Yes, he's going to come home now. And then when I found out they weren't sending you home, they were just sending you home for R&R, like a mere 2 weeks, a mere 2 weeks.
Whenever my R&R was scheduled,
to help be there for you, to like make sure you're healing. That felt so like that was like a moral injury to me. Like, it didn't feel right to just have you home for 2 weeks after being shot in the chest. It didn't feel right to have you to go back, after having such a big injury happen. There was not a consideration for that. In that moment, I realized, wow, they really need people, because they'll take back a guy who just got shot in the chest and somehow think he's going to be of value and could do something, Yeah, that was ultimately very disappointing. that you were gone again for another 6 months, I think. And
Well, I never left Iraq, so that's one,
yeah,
and then somewhere after that I got my, like everyone gets 2 weeks somewhere during the deployment, so I received that, but then deployed again, or continued the last deployment, kept going.
I'm emotional because I remember when you came back, and I just so did not want you to go back. Like you're sending back an injured person to go to war. Like, it just felt so terrible to me. I just didn't want you to go back. I really didn't. But then I knew, like, sense of duty as like a military family member, duty calls, right? So you just gotta find a way to be okay with it, and believe that you'll be in another kind of position, right? It's not going to be the full capacity that you were in. I mean, that was my assumption, and I'm glad that at least that assumption held true. Everything else, all the other assumptions that I had about how they would deal with something like this, did not happen. But yeah,
I didn't go outside the wire as much anymore. Wasn't doing so many foot patrols, so to speak.
Yeah,
and still did leave base a bit, but not so frequently.
that gave me ease. That definitely gave me ease. But I didn't hear any more from command. I don't think anybody could tell me, ma'am, we've decided to keep your husband. I don't think anybody would want to tell me that, right? So of course I wouldn't get any calls.
So I heard you had a week. A week later, you get one visit from a chaplain who doesn't know much and was coming to deliver a message that I died, possibly, and then then another week after that, you get one phone call from command saying, oh my gosh, we're keeping him.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember almost begging, like, can you at least send him back? Like, isn't it R&R time? Because that was another thing. We didn't know when you were going to get your R&R.
Right.
So then I was like, well, if you're not going to send him to Germany and I'm not going to go there, like, can you at least consider like having R&R happen? I do remember asking that. And then it was like, well, let me see, ma'am. Let me see what I can do. And I guess maybe there was a push for that. Maybe some strings were pulled to like at least get that piece happening.